Hi everyone, it's your boy Keith. Welcome back to Deus Ex. But this one's gonna be a little bit different. I wanted to give my review, opinion, or basically my thoughts about the game after finishing the Let's Play series. So just to be completely clear, this isn't the first time I played the game. I played the game sometime around 2018, I think, on my friend's PC. It was an old PC, so I really don't have anything much to play on it. I started to play around Deus Ex during our free time whenever we hang out at our friend's place. So shout out to Nick and Norbs. I really got hooked into it after a couple of hours playing and managed to finish it there eventually. I wanted to play the game again this year, or actually last year, December, to relive the experience of playing the game. And I must say, I wasn't disappointed. It's very enjoyable in my opinion, given that I have forgotten most areas of the game and despite playing different modern games for the past few years. Let's start with the positive things about this game. So their customizations. I'm not talking crazy customizations on how your avatar would look like in Cyberpunk, but I'm talking about the skills. You are greeted with a screen on where you will have a limited option for your avatar, unfortunately, but several options for your skills, just like on some RPGs. This will highly affect on how your first few missions will play out, since you only get more skill points after finishing objectives or sometimes discovering areas in the game. So you need to really choose wisely on this one. And as soon as you spawn at the very start of the first mission, where your brother will greet you and will let you choose among 3 weapons, which again, will greatly affect how you play out the first few missions. However, don't worry, you'll also get the other weapons later on in the game, via enemies or basically just on loot boxes. Also, a little later on in the game, after you finish, I think, second or third mission, or maybe actually the first mission, you also get introduced to the different augmentations. You'll actually get 9 of them, plus 3 that are default as you start. So each body part, except for the eyes, will have a couple of options which will significantly affect the way you will be playing the game. So again, you need to choose wisely on this one. You can't change the augmentations later on. And this brings me to my next point. You can play the game so many different ways. You can even finish the game with 100% pacifist mode, like you won't kill anyone, just knocking them out, I think. But I'm very positive about this one. Or you can just kill everyone, like go ham, go throw in the grenades, the lamp, or do what I did on the Let's Play. Probably most players did actually, just to mix it up. Apply what is easier on the situation. Maybe you need some stealth sometimes. Maybe you just need to kill everyone. You have no choice. Also, you can use or utilize lockpicks, multi-tools if you don't feel like exploring or investigating a certain area. It's too difficult for you. Or maybe it's like just too complicated, too tricky to get all the keys, the codes, the passwords. You can just hack them out. Again, going back to the skills at the start, your tools can be more efficient here. Also your hacking skills. Just note that some areas are locked to the story, so you can't lock tool them. You'll have to progress to the story normally. With that said, mission can be accomplished like 2 or 3 different ways, so it's very enjoyable and somehow satisfying, at least for me, when I realized that a certain method or like a different passageway is available that I could have used to finish that area or specific mission. Another point that I want to praise are the dialogues. They are well acted, especially for its time, I think. The dialogues are also changed, and some of the events also trigger, depending on your actions on your current or previous missions. So it could definitely change for every playthrough actually. Also, the game has a very rich story with a lot of revelations and twists. Warning though, a lot of conspiracy stuff on this game. So very early on in the decade, the century, they're already at it on the conspiracy theories. With that said, the soundtrack is also phenomenal. Like the one you're hearing right now on the background. That's actually the loading screen before you load or start the game. I think they managed to put just the right amount of music or soundtrack for most situations to help lift it up or like increase the intensity. But basically, I think they nailed it just to set the entire vibe of the game. And of course, in order to get those dialogues and story revelations, you need to do some investigations. The way they place clues and hints are very on point on most situations. However, in some cases, it might be very difficult to solve or figure out. But again, you can just use one of your tools, your lockpick, your multi-tool, to get through a door, maybe get around a group of enemies that are like very difficult to kill. There are also books, emails. Yeah, emails. You also get to log into the computers with some usernames and passwords, where you can get some more lores if you're really into that. And also, but not the least, you get multiple endings. You are really getting so much for this game. I'm not gonna spoil or say too much about the endings, but I did some videos on the endings, so you can check that out, or better yet, play it yourself if you can. So we've went through all the good things, but of course, there will be bad things, or at least not so good things about the game. The game isn't perfect after all. So let's address the elephant in the room. The graphics suck. Okay, I know. The game was released back in 2000, so the graphics are really gonna suck for today's standard. However, I must say, some of the scenery or the way the colors blend, especially when you're like riding on the helicopter with Jock, like the sunset, the clouds, and basically just the buildings around and the tiles or the bricks around it, they blend so well for its time. So it's kind of bearable to play in 2023. But that may vary if you really haven't played any old games like this. Next thing that I don't like are the OP weapons, or the overpowered weapons. We have the Dragon Tooth and the Gap Gun. I know, I use both of those weapons for the most part of the Let's Play, but I'm not the greatest gamer out there, so that helped me out a lot. If this is your first time playing the game, definitely keep those weapons, or at least find them, especially the Gap Gun. If you're gonna replay the game, have a second or third playthrough, try different weapons. You can basically defeat the game with different weapons. You can go full melee, don't use the Dragon Tooth or the Gap Gun, maybe use the rifle, use the sniper, or the crossbow, whatever you like really. But with that said, with the OP weapons, you can literally one-hit enemies, and sometimes even the bosses. And speaking of the boss fights, it's kind of underwhelming really. I know, I died a couple of times for at least each of the boss fights, but if you have a Gap Gun, or maybe even the Dragon Tooth sometimes, you'll basically just be fine. Add some augmentations as well, you're definitely gonna be fine. You might die for like first or second try just to figure out how they move, but basically if you have the Gap Gun, you know that you can get the right angle. You can just basically shoot them with the Gap Gun, explode them. You'll definitely kill the bosses here. Another one that pisses me off during the playthrough are the lack of checkpoints. Autosaves and checkpoints only happen if you reach a new place or actually start a new mission. If you die in the middle of something, even if you have gone around the area or kill a batch of enemies, or maybe heal or anything really, it won't autosave unless it's a new mission, or sometimes an entirely new area. That's the only time it autosaves. So just a pro tip for this game, always save your game. If you feel like you've achieved quite a lot, or maybe you've killed a lot of enemies, you've went around a lot and you've unlocked some doors, and the mission isn't done yet, you better be off saving. You don't wanna die and just start all over again and lost like 30 minutes of gameplay. The game always has some sort of trap to catch you off guard and kill you, so always be ready for that. Nonetheless, the game is still good in my opinion. Those are just my gripes about this game. So basically, to conclude, the original Deus Ex is such a good game, especially for its time. I believe it started, or at least one of the first ones to offer this much in a video game. A rich story with some consequences depending on your actions, some fairly diverse mechanics. This game is definitely ahead of its time. I know there are several games on Deus Ex series, but I really wish they remake or remaster this specific game, the first game in the series, so that we can enjoy it once more in stunning graphics. Maybe with RTX as well. But that's all I have to say really. I would rate this game maybe 9 out of 10. Really good game. Highly recommend it. It's only like maybe $1 in Steam. You just need to install like, I think it's DirectX 11, just to make sure that it's not so dark. But anyway, thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you want to experience the game with me, you can watch the Let's Play series. But again, I highly recommend you play this game if you can. And I really appreciate each and every one of you, every view and subscribers again. It means a lot to me. See you guys.